Hello. Hello, Bo. Hi, everybody. So let's start with a cover from one of my favorite all-time poets, the ancient curmudgeon Ezra Pound. This is Ancient Music. Winter is a coomin' in. Lud sing, goddamn. Raineth drop and staineth slop, and how the wind doth ram. Sing, goddamn. Skiddeth bus and sloppeth us, an ague hath my ham. Freezeth river, turneth liver, damn you, sing, goddamn. Goddamn, goddamn, 'tis why I am, goddamn. So gainst the winter's balm, sing, goddamn, damn, sing, goddamn. Sing, goddamn, sing, goddamn, damn.
All right, who said poets can't be humorous?
Good old Uncle Ez.
I like your neo-Cartesian in there. I sing, that's who I am.
This, so that was winter. I'm going to take something from the summer. This is just an excerpt from a larger poem of mine. I kind of like, one thing I kind of like about long poems, you can pull up things out of them and, use them in different contexts and stuff. This is called Shadow Boxes. Shadow boxes in the night, stars bright, torn free, my own soul, here, there, in shadow boxes everywhere. Lost in darkness encircled, breaking to both left and right, knowing a great fright. You had better rearrange, strange hipster in the summer night. Goodbye to you, old shadow boxes, laughing I will be.
Now, for our younger members of the audience, you said the word hipster, which today denotes a young person with a certain culture and style.
Indeed.
And you might recall for us the original definition and classification of a hipster.
It goes very far back with jazz musicians, I guess, and back in the 40s probably, maybe even the 30s. And of course, hippie derives from that. But yeah.
Right.
And that's exactly, it's another one of those words that has gotten sort of strangely twisted around.
It's been transformed, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I started hearing the word hipster when I was reading beat literature,
Right.
particularly Kerouac, writing about the hipsters.
Mm-hmm.
And because he had evolved that from what black musicians were calling
Exactly.
hip cats.
Hip
Man,
cats.
are you a hip cat? And
Right.
then the mostly white beats went, wow, hip cat. It's so cool. Hipster.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's interesting how these words develop, or even like the word beatnik, which Herb Caen, of course, because Kerouac was talking about, being beat as in either flat broke or in a beatific state, all those things, right? And then Herb Caen was cute. He came up with beatnik because the Russians had just put up Sputnik at the same time, so everybody had Nick in there.
And it was meant as pejorative.
Right.
Beats.
Exactly.
And the San Francisco Examiner called us beatnik,
Yeah.
Russian, pejorative.
Yeah.
And the Beats totally disliked the word beatnik.
They did.
And those days used to take quite an offense
That's
when
right.
someone addressed them as a beatnik or wrote about them as beatniks.
I'll have to say Herb Caen, I think, kind of loosened up as time went by and he got older, perhaps.
He finally cut.
He cut.
Follow me
He
on
cut
my
loose a
line.
little bit. Yeah.
My favorite thing of Herb Cain's was, I can't say that Ronald Reagan's term as governor was well done, but it was brown on both sides.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, can you give us Three's a Charm there?
All right. I'm gonna read something, a real old piece that I'd never read before. I don't think I've shared this one before, and this is about youthful debauchery in the far north of Northern California. Me and my best friend I was growing up with, who's dead now, and the only problem with this poem is we didn't have any girls with us that weekend. But this is called "Wasted Face" to Dan James, remembering fun, sports, and amusement at the ranch. 1. Heat of spring. Alcohol users hang out. Wine drank cool. Pot burned hot. Heat of spring. Hotter. And we're pissed. 2. In the bunkhouse. Reading the Iliad. Feeling burnt out. We eat acid. And soon Dan peaks. A joint in the car and I'm beyond there. I'm there. 3. Up Highway 5, approaching Oregon border, we pull off at Hilt. Last place in California where you can buy Coors beer. Fearing imaginary cops. 4. The gigantic trailer isn't very groovy. We're fed food, but Ross hates niggers, and I can't handle it. Asked about our herb garden, we run out the door yelling, "Run away!" 5. We drink to recover. Jack Daniels, backed with Coke. Eternity guzzled, breathe fire. 6. Past midnight, all made clear at last. Creative energies are high. I write down. That really happened exactly like all of it's true.
I'll tell you what's also going to happen. When people hear you using the N-word.
I'm going to get in fucking trouble, I know, and it'll be taken out of context. And you know what? I know, and I it's one reason I hesitated, but it's really weird. That's what that fucker said. They're tripping on acid, and there's this redneck, ranting and raving saying that. But yeah, I know, and actually, I've been doing a reading of Adventures of Tom Sawyer via streaming, and I get to that section, and I've done read other Twain before in the past, and he uses that word, and I've used it. I got to the section in Tom Sawyer where they were using that word, and I self-censored in that instance. And I don't like it. I don't like having to self-censor and that having forbidden words. But on the other side, I'm very sensitive to, all my black friends and brothers and sisters who are, sensitive, or anybody, So I don't know. Hopefully I'll get away with using it at that one time in that context. Didn't mean to offend
I
anybody.
imagine if you were reading before an in-person live audience, you might risk a lot of blowback, maybe even some a personal attack.
I think I might, yeah. And again, it's like, it's weird. And I, never really that was so strange when I was reading and came upon the word and then decided to self-censor and then had to editorialize within the context of reading that how uncomfortable it was, for me to do that, to not read the historically accurate text that Sam Clemens put down, but not wanting to, I don't want to offend anybody, of course, or make anybody uncomfortable either. So I don't know. It's an interesting dilemma.
It's strange because until relatively very recently, the word was used so much.
Exactly. And now it's like, yeah, you can get in a lot of trouble even uttering it one time and just regardless of context. So
Yeah. What do you think, Carrie? Have you an opinion?
I think the word has become like a stride of pride in if you are African American. But I think it's inappropriate to say if you're not African American. But that's my personal.
all right. Well, that was one reason I decided to take a chance with reading that poem. And I mean, it's not really a very flattering poem or behavior that I would the whole poem that I would recommend now. But
Yeah, but you kind of left after the guy said what he said, and I thought, okay, that's cool. That's cool.
yeah,
So,
yeah, we did leave. And anyways, I felt that if there was ever a group that it would be safe to read it in, this was the group. So thanks for listening.
It reminds me of an incident. We were driving along, a bunch of us in a car, past a group of black kids, and one of the guys leaned out the window and yelled, "Spear chucker." So we stopped the car and kicked him out and left him there.
Right.
Gave him a head start, but...
Right. You're right.
Yeah. It is a conundrum, in my opinion, because I respect the censorship of that word by white people on behalf of the collective pride of black people. So I duly respect that. Now, the conundrum for me is similar that if I was reading Sam Clemens, better yet, I wrote a play a while ago. It takes place in a jazz club that is a restaurant, it's a bar, restaurant, jazz club. And one of the protagonists in the play is a dishwasher who's a poet and is black and is very frustrated that he's rendered to be a dishwasher while the jazz cats are playing upstairs. And he uses the N-word to describe himself in a rhyming rap, which he uses to retort his white boss. Now, when the word became taboo to use and my play got read, I was confronted with that. And I went, no, that's how Lamont speaks. Keep it in there. And, and I think if he were to say, if my character in that were to say, and the N-word takes a licking and keeps on ticking just like Timex watch. No, ain't nobody gonna believe that my character said, and the N-word is still kicking, still taking a licking. Also I'm reminded of Lenny Bruce.
Oh yeah.
That word. And the equivalent of that word for the Jews, kike.
Right. Oh, he used them all.
It being Jewish, he got a pass on that in through the ages because he himself is Jewish.
Bill Burr has a thing about that. He says when somebody says the N-word, the real word pops into his head.
Right.
He knows what the word
You know what the word is. Exactly.
His point is that it's stupid because everybody knows what the word really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I realize that too. Everybody knows. At the same time, I respect the right of a group that's been demoralized and often terrorized by hearing that word thrown against them. Since it was used, 4
Yeah.
So I respect that as a very legitimate protest against that word.
Yeah.
At the same time, to be artificial about it, as Bill said, everybody knows what the character really said in that line or in that literature.
Right.
So it is a conundrum. And I guess the greatest concern is just too bad that racist vitriol is still thrown around
It really
so
is.
frequently
It really is.
in our society.
And then it beyond that, even like there's forbidden words in language, and then we've also got the thing we're coming up against with forbidden uses of cultural material. If you're not from that culture or whatever, you're accused of appropriating.
Cultural
Appropriation. It's like, aren't we all one human culture, and don't we learn and cross-pollinate and stuff like that?
Or describing women as body parts. I don't like that either.
Right.
See,
Yeah.
that,
Or anybody. I mean, women that definitely get the brunt of that, but
Well, speaking of men as body parts, it's getting well accepted.
is it? I guess.
Yeah, it is. You can call somebody a dickhead. Don't be a dick.
Oh, I
He's a
see.
dickhead.
right.
Because
A lot, actually.
it's the interesting thing here is, generally speaking, as a generalization, white male heterosexuals are fair game to be slandered and abused in a general sense with language.
Yeah, somebody being
Right?
like,
You can say you're a dickhead, or like in movies, if you call a black person boy, you're really insulting them. But in popular culture, it's, hey, white boy, what do you want? So you see, there's these, whatever opinion one has, there's these startling contradictions. And I'm not casting a judgment, but I, as a word person and a sensitive person, I see how they exist.
Oh.
I don't want to be called a boy.
somebody
Especially my old age.
Anybody can be an asshole, though, right?
Exactly.
before the election, there was a political discussion, and this woman's Bernie Sanders came up, and she said, "Well, he's an old white male, but I guess he's okay." And I thought if she had mentioned his sexuality, she would have hit the bigots' home run.
Right.
Ageism, racism, sexism.
And also that he's Jewish.
Yeah.
Get that in there too.
Yeah, why not?
That's the discussion I had with my mother. I don't like his mannerisms.
Folks were downgrading men. Yeah, let's go do it.
The accumulation of bigotries in our country, at least over the centuries, and which is continuing full blast into the present era, has really twisted a lot of us in a knot. As to say, you can pride Lenny Bruce for throwing all that out,
Yeah.
embarrassing straight WASP America for its hidden hypocrisies.
Right.
At the same time, if you were to repeat Lenny Bruce today, you're liable to get Lenny.
Get in trouble.
It is a very interesting turn of the screw.
All right. Well, you guys got to hear a wasted face for the only time it'll ever be read, probably. So, thanks.
One thing we can rest assured of is we do not tolerate bigots on Angora poetry.
No, we do not.
Whatever the confusion might be with listeners or among ourselves, we can be sure that we're not promoting it.
Certainly not.
So there we go. Well, I'm the last one.
There we are. I'm going to risk reading from the screen. So, in a couple of days, on Tuesday, we will have reached the 40th anniversary of the assassination of John Lennon. And I wrote 2 poems at that time, and I'm going to read them for you now.
Okay.
The night John Lennon died, shedding tears for a man I never knew. Blood is blood and karma is karma. Your words expressed choice. I grew to the sound of your voice. And now, ladies and gentlemen, The Beatles! The dreamer is dead. Tonight was very dark and cold. I had to work late. A friend called a little after 8. I thought he was telling a joke. And now, the punchline. John Lennon was just shot dead. Some joke. I ain't laughing. Is John playing a joke on us? Is John sitting back and laughing? We closed up the store. The news was traveling fast. Emotion crackled every voice. Have you heard? John Lennon was murdered tonight. No. Pain. Anger. Disbelief. Driving home on the radio, all I heard were Beatles tunes, and tears spilled out at a stoplight. How irrational. Shedding tears for a man I never knew? No, never met, not never knew. John, we all knew you quite well, and we loved you. I always felt a special closeness. You turned 20 the day I was born. You turned 40 the day I turned 20. I wonder how you celebrated those occasions. Now shot dead in New York City at the end of 1980 by a lone Hawaiian lunatic, by a man who expressed his will with a gun. Blood is blood, and karma is karma, and death is death. And all the world has lost a very loving older brother, and all the world has every reason to cry. So then the Sunday following the murder, Yoko put out a request for 10 minutes of silence in John's memory, and all the radio stations went to dead air for that 10 minutes. It was very, very moving, and I wrote this. Silence for John Lennon. There is no silence in a sunlit room. There are voices that come unannounced, from voices long unheard. At the moment of tranquil despair, there are eyes that mirror infinite love. There are thoughts that are the key to immortality. There are tears that flow like spring torrents, sobbings like tornadoes, cryings like hurricanes. There is silence shared and savored. There is aloneness and quietness. There is a moment of lucidity, gone as soon as you become aware of it. There are many distractions. There are many paradoxes. There are many hidden places, hitherto unexplained. There is much to be said for sitting in a seat of silence, awaiting the moment I can't remember, but can remember.
I have a predictable question to ask
Yes,
both of you. Do you remember where you were when you got the news?
I do. I described it in the poem there. Yeah, I was working. I worked in this department store. I was a stock clerk, and one of my friends, coworker, he called up to the loading dock there, and he had heard the news on, as many people did, when Howard Cosell announced it on Monday Night Football. Yeah, So yeah, apparently Cosell prefaced the announcement by saying, you know, as much as a win or loss matters to either team, we must never forget that this is only a football game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Anyways,
That was good on Cosell's part. How about you, Carrie? Do you remember where you were?
I was a little younger. I was 8 years old.
Mhm.
But I remember coming home from school and it was snowing, which was kind of unusual in Oklahoma. I'm from Oklahoma. And people were literally crying in the street.
yeah.
They're right by their cars and just sobbing, weeping. It was just so palpable. I still remember it.
I remember.
And,
Oh, sorry.
and I went to my mom and said, "What happened?" She said, "John Lennon just died." And I knew who John Lennon was because they fed me like a nutrient amount of Beatles growing up.
Right.
They still do.
Wow.
I just recall my dad saying to me at the time that how it seemed like every each generation had some figure like that who, you know, would die a tragic death like that. He said for him, his generation, it was John Kennedy, you know. Mine, John Lennon.
And for some, it was James Dean.
Absolutely.